Let's go into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
They just don't write them like that anymore. Once again, they just don't write them like that anymore. Yes, day 2. We continue to celebrate the life and the unexpected passing of Greg Kihn. And, of course, he put together those amazing lyrics during the breakup song, where that went from love to hate, including when he says, "We've been living together for 1,000,000 years." Yeah. If you've been with someone that long, you know it's over. And Greg Kihn didn't cut any corners. He got straight to it. But he left us, I guess it was actually on Wednesday night. And at the age of 75, put together some pretty good tunes. And the thing I always loved about Greg Kihn is he went the exact opposite of a guy like Peter Wolf. Right? Peter Wolf was a phenomenal disc jockey back on WBCM, which was considered like the best rock and roll station in the 70s and 80s. And he left and became the front man of Jake Isles. Well, Greg Kihn did the exact opposite. He put together Our Love's in Jeopardy and the breakup song. That was it. He couldn't create any more hits, so he became a morning DJ for nearly 20 years. And again, I don't know much more about him. I wasn't a deep cut Greg Kihn guy, but certainly those hits during the MTV generation as well were pretty spectacular. All right, I am fired up. No place I'd rather be. Duval. You can Bahamas me. I mean, you can. You can take me around the Caribbean. You can send me off to another continent. I want to be right here along the First Coast because tonight's going to be a lot of fun. Tomorrow night, we've got a tasty treat. It's game number 2, and I really wonder how the complexion of this matchup changes after yesterday's shock, at least in my opinion, with no pads. I was under the assumption a great day Wednesday and Thursday. I understand what Doug Peterson said, and it made a lot of sense. Wednesday, they worked, right next to one another on both fields. They got in around 90 snaps. So they played about a game and a half during Wednesday's work. And, I think they really accomplished an awful lot. But I asked Doug Peterson before the start of the year about playing guys. Actually, I asked Trevor. I didn't ask Doug. Someone else asked Doug Peterson that question. And his answer was, yes, some limited play against Kansas City. Okay, check that box. Starters would not play tomorrow night because they would get 2 days of practice. And then next Friday, a week from tonight, they would get that opportunity again against Atlanta. Of course, you have 2 weeks off before the opener in Miami. We know that Trevor Lawrence is not going to play. Christian Kirk is not going to play. He's been slowed with a calf injury. Eric Armstead just taken off the PUP list. He's not going to play. I think other guys that are, less than 100% right now will probably sit out. A guy like Daniel Thomas, right, who's got a heel. Ventrell Miller, who's had a really good camp. He's got the cast. The guy's dealt with 3 different things so far. A tight hamstring, the shoulder during the game, now the hand. So I don't know if he's going to be able to give it a go. A guy like Keelan Robinson isn't going to be able to give it a go as well. But to me, that becomes a very intriguing part of all of this tomorrow night. I'm one of those that would like to see the offensive line play. It's the weakest part of this football team by far. I mean, it's not even close. Coming up in a little bit, I'm really going to go through camp, everything I've seen the last 3 weeks, and I'm going to, for the most part, give my opinion on younger players that have improved. And again, I think that's the theme of camp. How much better players are now than they were a year ago. And in a couple of cases, some rookies. It's certainly Brian Thomas Jr. If you go out and watch the first 2 practices with Brian Thomas Jr. dropped the touchdown pass on the very first play during red zone work. There were a few thousand of you out there watching it. at the Miller Electric Center. It was like probably the worst way for him to start camp. Then he did the exact same thing the next day. They weren't easy possessions, if you will. But what I'm getting at, in my opinion, 17 practices later, Brian Thomas hauls that in. There's no doubt. I mean, his confidence is off the chart, and Tampa Bay can't cover him. They can't put a guy on him. His route tree has grown. I thought Press Taylor made a really good point of view, and it was one that sticks with me now when he talked about the early part of practice when there were some problems, and that included Brian Thomas Jr. Well, it was basically all red zone work. And when you look at a guy like Brian Thomas, he's going to be much more than a red zone wide receiver. He's a game breaker. He's going to be able to stretch some defenses. And we've seen that all week long in practice, and, we've seen it against Tampa Bay. We also started to notice it, maybe 10, 11 days or so ago when there were contested balls, and he showed strong hands going up on a ball that was thrown and battled Ronald Darby, and was able to go up and show his ability, his jumping ability, his tremendous athleticism, but strong hands. We saw him on a screen, a simple screen. And again, you saw athleticism. And the route tree continues to grow where he's not going to be a one-trick pony. I mean, this isn't Ronaldo Nehemiah where they're going to say, run downfield, we're going to throw it up to you. No. This is encouraging. So, anyway, I do think that is just one of the rookies that has done some really good things here the last couple of days, and I'm going to get to that coming up. I do, this is really a conflict for me in my brain, okay? And this is simply the brain now. It's not the heart. It's not the stomach. And when it gets to sports, all three come into play. It really does. It's really the only thing in life where you use your brain, your heart, and your stomach. And I honestly think the pit of your gut tells the best story. Screw the brain. They're always battling, right? The ego and the super ego, and somewhere the id wants to get involved. And the heart is soft and all this, no, it's the gut. The gut tells you what you want. And my gut has always told me this. I'm an every snap guy. I want my first teamers with every snap. There's nothing worse in college football when you hear that there's a quarterback battle going on and that they're splitting reps. I'm like, no. Pick a guy and play the guy. If it doesn't work, play the next guy. So that's the way I've always been. Every snap counts. That's my gut. I've been wrestling with this all week. I wouldn't play Travis Etienne tomorrow night. I'd sit him down. We already know they're without Christian Kirk. I wouldn't play Evan Ingram tomorrow night. I'd sit him down. There's a few others I'm kind of, I can't believe I'm actually going to say this. This is the first time in 32 plus years I've ever said this. I'm kind of flip-flopping. I'm kind of on the fence here. I don't know what to do with a few other players, but I don't need to see anything else with Travis Etienne. You know what he can do. The results so far with the running attack have been awful. I don't need to see that tomorrow night. Give Tank some live bullets. Let's see what Tank can do running behind Ezra Cleveland. Let's see what Tank can do running behind Mitch Morse. Let's see what Tank can do tomorrow night running behind Brandon Sheriff. I would sit ETN out. I would sit Evan Ingram out. Just my opinion. Now, I do want to see this first team offensive line work, okay? When I get to my opinion on what I've seen so far with camp, it's going to be almost all positive. I can't say that about the offensive line. It's really, really bad, okay? There's no other way to describe it. It's a bad offensive line. And, we can try to disguise this. We can try to cover it up. You can try to be tender with it and do anything you want, but it's bad. And this is an offensive line last year that was 29th in pass block win rate. They were 28th in run block win rate. If you were really honest, okay? And sometimes honesty comes out as being miserable, as being cantankerous, right? Their day on Wednesday was really, really good. First of all, Trevor, clean practice. Clean practice yesterday. What do we mean by that? Didn't turn the football over. Threw a whole bunch of touchdowns. Red zone touchdowns, regular 11-on-11 touchdowns, the bomb, the Brian Thomas Jr. Everyone's talking about it. I just raved about Brian Thomas Jr. Here's the truth. He would have freaking been sacked. Okay? 7 sacks is what people graded. I don't grade that type of stuff. 7 sacks. So I do an interview in Tampa. They're like, I hear that, Jacksonville's just beating the living tar out of Tampa Bay. And I'm like, yeah, they've had a good day, but they're not going live on the quarterbacks. And if they did, I just have a feeling it would be a totally different set of circumstances. So if you want to come in here and be all negative, or if you want to come in here and just simply tell the truth, all of those touchdowns, they wouldn't have happened. Now, does that mean that Trevor would have gotten rid of the ball earlier? Does that mean that Trevor would have dumped down and instead of throwing? I mean, everything changes with that situation, but we are living off of the one game that we've seen where Trevor Lawrence took a 4th down sack. I'm not going to spend much more time on this because I don't want to put myself in a bad mood, but this offensive line is far and away the biggest problem that this organization has. And I've been yelling about this for years. They can't run, and they struggle to pass block. All right? They couldn't run on Saturday night. Look at ETN. 4 carries, 3 yards. I don't need to see him get the ball 4 times tomorrow night and get bottled up at the line of scrimmage. I think it was John Shipley who said ETN on Wednesday had 7 carries that went for 2 yards or less. They can't run. Okay? They can't run the ball. And that is that. So I'm going to leave it alone. And I'm going to go to positive things that have happened with this football team. And what are they going to do with that interior offensive line? I hope Mitch Morse is a 9-year veteran, is a guy who's savvy enough that they find a way to be somewhat successful. Folks, I do not know what to tell you right now about your left and your right guard. I don't even know where to begin. Okay, I don't know if the scheme is wrong or if it's just the personnel that is wrong. And let me tell you something. You got problems. Are you going to Blake Hance me here tonight? Are you going to Blake Hance me on a Friday night? That's what I want to know right here in Duval. Are you going to tell me, hey, play Cooper Hodges, man? He's from Baker County. We all love Cooper. Yeah, everyone loves Cooper. He's a 7th rounder who can't get out of the hot tub. Ty Shatley? Hey, move Walker Little to guard. He can't play guard. Okay? Walker Little can't play guard. Jacksonville has 3 left tackles. Their best player is a right tackle who will eventually be their left tackle. I thought Harrison and Robinson did really good things in one-on-one drills on Wednesday, especially Harrison. But I don't know what to tell you about the interior offensive line. I kind of hope there's a surprise cut by another team. And I know the answer. Well, if someone else is cutting him, why would you pick him up? Hey, Ben Barch isn't walking through that door, right? It's not happening. Zane Beadles isn't walking through that door. Luke Fortner, you don't want him walking through that door. That's a problem. And I don't know how they're going to be able to fix that. Well, give Tank the ball tomorrow night. See what Tank Bigsby can do behind that offensive line. And if perhaps something does change for the better. All right, if you want to comment on that, you can. 641-1010, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. Really looking forward to everything that is going on this Friday night. It's going to be a lot of fun as far as I am concerned. Do want to thank Shmunez Vision. Okay, there's a company right there that they get it all right, and they're your one stop. No matter what it is a place that is all about family. They are a family organization, generational, father and son. All right, Dr. Catherine Shmunez, fellowship-trained cornea, cataract surgery, all refractive surgery. I know you're saying to yourself, surgery on your eyes. Wow. Brutal, right? It can be the more you delay it. I mean, I went in for a normal checkup 8.5 years ago. Dr. Neil Shmunez says, bro, you need to have something removed from your eye immediately. I'm like, what are you talking about? I feel fine. Everything's great. He's like, no, needs to come out. He performed surgery the very next day. So whether it's a prescription update, absolutely. But things that are far more significant than that, stop pushing it back. Set up an appointment today. Go to Shmunez Vision, or better yet, check them out on Instagram at Shmunez Vision. You can also get all of your testimonials there. All right, let's do it here on time. We are going to roll into a Friday night, just about all Jacksonville Jaguar talk over the next couple of hours. I do have something in college football I absolutely want to get into a little bit later on. But for you right now, on the Jags, I'm going to give you what I've seen over the last 2+ weeks since training camp got underway. And I want you to be a part of the program. The best way to do it, the text line, 641-1010, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures.
What's that?
What the hell?
It's a big red button.
The big red button.
1010XL.
Jennifer, Luxury has a new address in Jacksonville.
Oh, do tell, John.
Randy Marion Cadillac on Southside Boulevard. We've got over 40 Cadillac Lyrics in stock.
40? That's incredible. Any color you want?
You bet. Pick your color and drive away today. Plus, we're giving away a free home charger with every Lyric.
Fantastic. Anything else?
How about a car you'll never have to change the oil on?
No oil changes ever? Now that's luxury.
Randy Marion Cadillac, where Jacksonville meets luxury.
Visit us today on Southside Boulevard and tell them Jennifer sent ya.
Daytona always brings the drama.
Everything's on the line. The risk will be higher.
3 wide.
Look how insane this is.
Gunning to keep playoff hopes alive. It's now or never.
It's the most stressful night of racing that you'll ever go
For
through.
an unforgettable weekend of family fun, high wattage star power, and a front row seat full of fireworks. NASCAR weekend at Daytona International Speedway, August 23rd and 24th. Get your tickets now at DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com.
Ballou here for Shmunez Vision. Why Shmunez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Shmunez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Shmunez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Shmunez is fellowship-trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit ShmunezVision.com today. Care you can see.
AC replacement? If your AC unit is ready to go kaput, then it's time to call Florida Home AC. With over $3,000 in tax credits waiting for you on select systems, take advantage of it. Call 777-4300. Get Florida Home AC to cool you off.
Veterans, did you know VA mortgage rates have plummeted and you can now access up to 100% of your home's equity and turn that into cash right now? Hey, it's Roger Moore, President and CEO of Loan Pronto, announcing our VA Equity Advantage program. This VA offer can get you $50,000, $70,000, $100,000 cash out with no junk fees and no hassle. With APRs in the 5s, you can pay off all those credit cards, personal loans, car loans, and get one easy-to-manage payment. Veterans we help save on average $850 per month. And listen, if you're a veteran with a current mortgage rate over 6.25%, we can do a streamlined refinance with no income verification and no appraisal, saving you hundreds a month. At Loan Pronto, we respect what you've done for our country, and we show it. Call now and ask about our special VA Equity Advantage program. 904-999-1508. 904-999-1508. LoanPronto.com. 904-999-1508.
Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org.
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser share the huddle with Freddie T.
Bring it in!
Monday morning running back with Fred Taylor is fueled by Epstein and Robbins.
Fred Taylor, he's a candidate to go the distance.
On 1010XL.
Does the building you go to work in every day need a little love and attention? Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Great companies take great care of the buildings their staff and customers walk into every day. If the building you're in doesn't match the vision you have for your company, we can help. Go to performance-painting.com. Our highly trained team makes the difference. Quality coatings applied with pride.
Performance Painting. Hacker here with a new opportunity for you. The 20-pound summer slim down with Awaken 180 weight loss. Dropping 20 pounds before summer ends, cruising to your goal of 30, 40, 50-plus pounds down. It's simple. You take the last few weeks of summer, eating, drinking, enjoying the weather, but the difference? You're doing it with the 20-pound summer slim down. But you say, Hack, summer's almost over. Well, that's the point. The pounds melt off fast with Awaken 180. I dropped my first 20 in less time, and that easy 20 propelled me to reach my goal of losing over 85 pounds. Think about it. You're about to slide back into the same old fall routine with the same old mindset. Mix it up. Live up the rest of your summer while dropping the first 20. Then jump into fall with a whole new groove. Yeah, I said it, and you'll be saying it too in just a few weeks. 20-pound summer slim down with the solution for weight loss. Online, awaken180weightloss.com.
For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
15,000 workers. I'm Brian Rose from Remedy Staffing. We survey 15,000 blue-collar workers each year to better understand what drives quality and dependability in our workforce. The survey shows when looking for a new job, the initial pay rate, job security, and safety while working are the most important factors for hourly workers. If you're an employer and would like to learn more about the voice of the blue-collar worker, please call us at 904-528-1933.
Hey, this is Bert Cannon with the First Coast YMCA. Youth sports at the Y can help nurture your future athlete's potential and experience the joy of being a kid. At the Y, we're providing a safe, clean, and fun environment with basketball, soccer, volleyball, gymnastics, elite skills training, and more. Best of all, participation in Legacy Youth Sports League is free with your family membership. Visit fcymca.org to learn all about youth sports at the Y.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
I can just see Greg Kinn walking through the pearly gates with this playing and grabbing a guitar. One of those deals where they got like 18 guys on guitar all on the stage at once. How much fun would that be, JJ, to be up there with a bunch of classics, not even have the guitar plugged in, but just act like you're playing with those guys?
Look over and be like, wow, I didn't expect to see you here.
Hey, you're here before your time. That would be I love when they all jam, though.
Oh, yeah.
And they all give each other, like, solos, even if it's like 15, 20 seconds, whatever it may be. But that's going on with Greg Kinn. We lost him at the age of 75 this week. Do want to tell you that tonight's show is brought to you by Thermal Engineers. They've been around for quite some time here in Jacksonville, more than 20 years, commercial HVAC contractor, and very highly regarded. They're doing so well that they're expanding. So this is a tremendous opportunity for you right now. If you're a qualified technician and installer, go to Thermal Engineers, Inc. and get all the details. You can give them a call at 230-1172. It's an equal opportunity employer, but we're talking about top pay, 401k, full benefits, and a signing bonus. Again, top pay, 401k, full benefits, and a signing bonus. Go to Thermal Engineers, Inc. or call them at 230-1172. JJ LaSelva is here. You fired up for the weekend?
I am. So here's my main thing I'm going to watch tomorrow night. Do you think Brian Thomas plays?
I do.
Good.
But I wouldn't be disappointed if they sat him. I wouldn't.
He's looked so good in camp. You think you've seen enough, especially this week?
Yeah. But because Trevor's not playing. So he's going to be out there. I would assume it's going to be Mac Jones in the first half, and it's going to be C.J. Beathard in the second half. We saw that great grab he made last week by C.J. Beathard, but he's really had a great practice week here with Trevor Lawrence.
So it's like, what is he learning with a new quarterback? What does it matter what his rapport would be with Mac Jones? Why even play him? I get that.
If I could pick 5 guys to sit out, he would be one of them.
Okay.
But far and away for me, number 1 is Travis Etienne. It's not even close.
Of course.
I just do. I do not want to play him tomorrow. I just don't think it makes any sense. He's had a very good camp. He's dealing with a real bad offensive line. I just don't think he needs to take the pounding. We saw that how effective he is. Even when they can't run, he caught that 9-yard touchdown pass. So he's going to be explosive. He's going to be a double-digit touchdown guy. I think he's going to catch more passes than he did a year ago.
I hate any starting running back getting carries in the preseason. It makes me cringe. I'm just like, we know that they're going to, they'll be ready by week 1. It's fine. I don't know if we need to see him in there. So you think the starting O-line all plays?
I do, but I don't know anything.
Okay. Yeah.
I could be dead wrong. It was,
guessing.
Well, things changed because Doug Peterson spoke on Thursday morning, and there was no indication at the time that the team was going to work without pads. I don't understand the thinking. Now, obviously, they got with one another, and they said, we had a great work day on Wednesday. Let's just go out and work on Thursday. But to me, it doesn't make a lot of sense to bring a team in here to practice and then not put them in pads and at least have some contact. So
do you think that was decided before they even came? They said they've been talking to the Bucs about this for months. Or was this hey, we got so much good work in on Wednesday?
I kind of think it's the latter.
Okay.
And the only reason why is the way that Peterson answered the question on the cusp of camp.
Mm-hmm.
When he said, play against Kansas City, nothing against Tampa because 2 days of practice, and then obviously get some reps in against Atlanta. And, we'll see tomorrow night. It could be just a sprinkling of the starters and, more and more backups. But I don't know if things have changed. So it's really going to be intriguing to see what happens here for both teams, how much their starters are going to play. Before I get into this, because it's going to be lengthy, believe it or not, I have a lot of really positive things to say about young players. I think it's the definition of training camp 2024. The noticeable improvement of young players, young drafted players. And that is encouraging for you Jaguar fans. This Dan LeBatard deal, I just want to give it a minute. This is nuts. I've been asked this week many, many times about Paul Feinbaum's comments, right? Florida State's going to be unranked. They shouldn't be in the top 10. They cried too many tears, and I was asked, how do I feel about it? Well, honestly, I'm fine with it. I'm not bothered by it at all because it's his opinion on the team. Whether you like it or not, and we know when Feinbaum speaks, it's agenda-driven. So you have to take that into consideration, all right? He has a purpose here, and his purpose here is to diminish a non-SEC team. And he's pointing out, the playoff and the tiers. A lot of people do that. But my point is, everyone gushing over Florida State, I don't need that. Maybe this will provide a little motivation. Maybe this at least will wake them up a little bit if they're slacking off during. Maybe I think this could only help. I'm not bothered by it. He's a talkie, and he made his opinion. The Dan LeBatard week, though, what's going on with this guy? And I don't know Dan LeBatard. I'm aware of him. I've really never been a fan. I certainly have never been a hater. He's just been irrelevant to me. There's no other way for me to say it. But for those of you who aren't aware of what he said, this week, he went as far as to say that if Jacksonville made the Super Bowl, the ratings would suck. It would be the all-time worst ratings for a Super Bowl where we know in the industry, and you know as fans, that year after year after year after year, Super Bowl ratings grow. Okay? You can put any two teams in there, and the ratings are going to be enormous. Are they going to be as enormous as last year if they know that Taylor Swift is in the audience? Okay, I'll give you that. Probably not. But Le Batard starts going crazy on this. And then yesterday, a buddy sent me this because I don't follow him anyway. I don't even know about his show. He goes on and says, his question of the day, does Jacksonville smell? All right, and I'm like, what? And the survey was overwhelming in support of the fact that Jacksonville does smell. Okay.
Smell bad, to be specific.
Right. Downtown is a mess. I have fun with downtown, okay? Our founding fathers were freaking idiots. There's no other way to say it, okay? You can't blame our recent government. It's the founding fathers. They had absolutely no idea with the ability to make it like San Antonio or make it like St. Louis or make it like, heck, I don't know, the Navy Pier section of Chicago, anything, the Boston Harbor, I don't know. Instead, it's a joke. And finally, we're beginning to fix that, okay, for future generations. But you have, the coffee situation downtown, and it does smell odd at times. But how absurd is this? Dan Le Batard, Jacksonville is the biggest city in America if you look at its circumference, all right? It takes forever to get from point A to point B in Jacksonville. Nothing in Jacksonville is 5 minutes away. Nothing in Jacksonville is 10 minutes away. Everything in Jacksonville is 30 to 45 minutes away. The city doesn't stink. The city doesn't smell. It's beautiful. So I just want to understand, A, why he did this and the difference with how I react. You can say something about my team, a school I graduated from, with Florida State, and I'm okay with it because it's an opinion on a team. But when you start picking on the city that I live in and the city that I'm going to die in and bring up scenarios like, well, if the Jaguars went to the Super Bowl, no one's going to watch. It's going to be the lowest rated Super Bowl we've ever seen. And Jacksonville smells, yada, yada, yada. That's where I draw the line. And I'm wondering. I didn't want to do the work on my own, not because I'm lazy, but frankly, I didn't want to give the attention to it. I figured I'd ask you. Maybe there's some Le Batard fans out there, and you could explain it to me on the text line at 641-1010. Brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. Why does Le Batard have a problem with Jacksonville? I have problems with cities, right? And I'm never going to miss an opportunity to pick on Cleveland. Never going to miss an opportunity to pick on Buffalo. Okay, that's natural. But I don't get what it is here. Maybe you do. If so, please share that with us. All right, enough of that nonsense. Let's get to what is most important. Let's do that on the other side. So we have really ample time to do it. Going to take you fully through Jaguars training camp 2024. And embrace yourself, ladies and gentlemen, because this is going to be all positive, okay? Young players who are getting better. And if you can get half of these guys, let's say I come up with 10 guys. If you can get 5, maybe 6 of the 10 to really take that step, how much better is this team going to be than they were a year ago. All of that is coming up. Again, if you want to join the conversation, you can. 641-1010, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures.
At Honda, we appreciate all the comparisons to other vehicles. And no matter how many times they compare their vehicles to a Honda, only a Honda is a Honda. Remember, value, quality, safety, there is no substitute. Visit your local Honda dealer now and experience the difference.
Discover the difference that local expertise makes at First Coast Lighting and Fans. Visit their showroom at the Avenues and browse high-quality products to match your desire for elegance, quality, and uniqueness at First Coast Lighting and Fans.
Don't make a bad call when it comes to servicing your home. Cooling off with a baby pool in the house to fix your air conditioning problem is a bad call. Trying to catch a wave in a flooded bathroom is a bad call. Using a burning electrical panel to make s'mores is a bad call. The next time something goes wrong, make a good call to Donovan.
Whether you need air, electric, or plumbing service, Donovan is always a good call. It's why we've been trusted by our customers for almost 40 years and why you can trust us to deliver fast, reliable service to your home. Donovan, always a good call.
Visit DonovanAC.com today.
Staying active no matter what your age is key to living life at its fullest. And Rebound Rehabilitation wants you to know they can get you back up to speed and back in the game pain-free. Rebound Rehabilitation with 8 locations across the First Coast, top-of-the-line therapists ready to assist you. From neck and back pain, knee or foot pain, they can help. Excellent patient care combined with the highest quality in rehabilitation services. Look for a Rebound Rehab location near you and get back in the game. Log on, reboundrehab.com.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On August 16, 2008, legendary American swimmer Michael Phelps wins his 7th of 8 gold medals at the Beijing Olympics on the 100-meter butterfly.
Hey, sports fans, this is Hayes Carline from MyBookie. Are you ready for the ultimate college football season? Using MyBookie's sportsbook and casino platform, you can bet on every game and win anytime, anywhere, straight from your mobile device. No app needed. Just sign up at MyBookie.com and you're ready to rock. No matter who you're rooting for, there's no better way to experience the season than having action on the games. When you know your team well, it's an easy way to take advantage of props like team win totals or early picks for playoff contention. Last year, MyBookie had some of the best odds on the market for the Wolverines to win the championship, and Michigan bettors who backed their squad saw a 10% return on their wager. These type of bets highlight why it's worth it to lay an investment before the season begins. Lock your futures in now while you're waiting for the season to begin and use promo code 1010XL to claim a bonus up to $1,000 on that first deposit. That's promo code 1010XL to start the season with house money. Don't ever miss out on the action. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. Only with MyBookie.
Tickets are on sale now for this year's Florida Forum Speaker Series featuring former UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson, physician and author Deepak Chopra, and author of Bad Monkey and Hoot, Floridian novelist Carl Hiaasen. Funds raised are for Kids Care Mobile ICUs, neonatal and pediatric critical care transport vehicles. These vehicles and helicopters safely transport more than 2,000 infants and children a year to Wolfson Children's Hospital. Get your tickets now at thefloridaforum.com.
Roof damage? Call before you claim. Green Law Group, fighting insurance companies for you. They will work for you when you have roof damage. Don't let your insurance deny you. Don't call an adjuster. Call Green Law Group at 904-302-7055. Remember, if you have roof damage, call Green Law Group before you claim. They've settled millions and will work hard to get your claim and new roof. Green Law Group. Call before you claim. 904-302-7055.
This is Hayes Carline for SkyLife Elite. Are you tired of canceled flights, unruly passengers, and layovers? Call my friends at SkyLife Elite. Consider using private charter flights for your next adventure. Yes, you can afford it. Make your own schedule. Fly direct. Drive your car to Craig Airport and get directly on the plane. SkyLife Elite can make that happen. Call 490-9332. Go to flyskylife.com and find them on social media. Fly SkyLife Elite, North Florida's premier private air charter.
Before termites attack your home or business and cause costly damage, Terminix it. At Terminix, we know how to stop termites. These destructive pests have been around for millions of years, but before they show up, so do we. And their time is up. Don't live with a termite problem? Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online. That's TERMINIX.com. TERMINIX.com. Terminix it.
When it comes to towing products, your safety on the road is the priority at Cannons of Jacksonville. Whether it's a heavy-duty tow hitch, trailer frame, wiring, gooseneck, tow bar, or any other towing accessory, Cannons has decades of experience to ensure your towing setup is installed with precision and reliability. Visit cannonsofjacks.com to explore a range of products and schedule your installation. Cannons of Jacksonville, your trusted partner for a smoother tow.
This is Dr. Steve Crenshaw, Assistant Team Physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jaguars brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Jaguars players and coaches have been raving about second-round pick defensive end Mason Smith. With a guy such as Josh Hines-Allen speaking highly of his name, Smith should have a bright future in Duval.
I love him. He has that it factor in him. You know, he clean up little pieces here and there, but he's a dog. Like, he's a legit one of those ones. And once he puts it together, he has all the wiggle in the world, but he also has the power to pull somebody back. And he's smart. He can play. He can run. He's physical. He has all the tools to be someone I love to rush with.
JTA Game Day Express is back. Save gas and avoid parking hassles as the Jaguars take on the Buccaneers this Saturday. Let them do the driving. With multiple locations around town and passes starting at just $10 on the MyJTA app. To learn more, visit jtafla.com. I'm Max Fink with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, Mike Garafolo of the NFL Network is now saying that Brandon Ayuk from San Francisco to Pittsburgh is not that far apart. Trying to figure out if they can redo the deal with Brandon Ayuk or just give him a brand new contract. So that appears to be the holdup. But if something does break with that on this Friday, we will certainly keep you updated and let you know. All right, let's get to what I've seen in camp. I want to start with the secondary because to me, this has been the biggest surprise that I have seen with this football team, positively speaking. And I want to talk about young guys. Ronald Darby's been really good. Tyson Campbell was slowed at one point, got paid. He's been good. And I really don't consider Darnell Savage a nickel, even though I think he's going to start the year there. When it's all said and done, I think he's going to be a safety because there's lack of bodies, there's lack of depth at safety. And right now, I believe Jacksonville has 4 true corners, and there's a 5th guy that's had a good camp. So let's begin with Christian Braswell. I mean, he didn't make the team a year ago. He has arguably been the best cornerback in camp, and that's really saying something because Campbell's consistent, and Darby has, in my mind, overachieved. But Christian Braswell, if you were to count interceptions, I would imagine he's probably has had the most. He's done a variety of different things, including playing inside as a nickel. If you go back to the beginning part of camp, when Gregory Jr. was still here, and of course he was waived yesterday with an injury settlement, Deontay Prince being selected, some of these other, younger corners, Buster Brown, obviously going out and getting Jarian Jones this year. He was a guy that was amongst all of them. To me, he's their 3rd corner. He is. And will he be involved in dime work? Will he come in? They used 3 different nickels in the first quarter the other night against Kansas City. Christian Braswell has had a very good camp. Much better than I thought. So he's the first guy I want to highlight. The second guy I want to mention is Eric Hallett, who I think in some circles is still on the bubble. I haven't done my 53 yet. I'm not going to do it tonight. I don't know if I'll do it next week or if I'll wait until the opener. Well, actually, I think cut day is on the 27th. I'll certainly do it before them, depending on time next week. But I'll tell you, I got 48 of the 53 that I believe are on the team. Eric Hallett, in my mind, should make this club. He provides some depth at safety. Now, this is a guy kind of like Antonio Johnson that was able to work at both safety and corner. I think a lot of us forget Antonio Johnson last year, 176 snaps, primarily as a nickel. This year he's working at safety. Johnson maybe not as good early on as expected, and I hope that changes. But that's part of the reason why I think when it's all said and done, you're going to see Darnell Savage with Andre Sisco at safety if something does happen with the play of Antonio Johnson. I'm not putting, I'm not throwing him under the bus. I'm not saying that. It's just he hasn't stood out like some of these other members of the secondary. And, Daniel Thomas is a special teams guy. Dewey, I just don't think you want him on the field in coverage. So they need younger corners or younger safeties. And I do think that Eric Hallett is going to be that guy. Jerrion Jones, he's your fourth corner. All right. Maybe as early as next year, he is opposite Tyson Campbell. That would be my thinking, right? Your future secondary is Tyson Campbell, Jerrion Jones, and Christian Braswell. Is Ryan Nielsen, is Doug Peterson right now on the 16th day of August married to any one of them as your slot or your other cover corner? They've worked at them all. My belief is the answer to that question is no. But this is great news. You got your best corner who just re-signed, and it feels like you have two other really young corners who have an opportunity to be good football players for this city. Buster Brown is fascinating to me. I would keep him on this team. Now, he dropped an interception yesterday. He's been beaten at times, but he appears to be all over the ball. He does. It's a numbers game. Are they going to keep a veteran like Trey Flowers? Probably not, even though I like him and I like his experience. He's so long. I just think he gets caught up in all of this. Maybe they can convince him to come back and be a part of the practice squad where you can keep 6 veterans. And obviously Jacksonville has plenty of money under the salary cap when they're able to do that. The other fascinating part of it to me is Deontay Prince, who they drafted this year. He's flashed at times. There's been others where he has been beaten. Buster Brown works more with the top defense or top couple of defenses than Deontay Prince does. So to me, Buster is the guy. And again, it's been a good camp for him. So I think the 5 corners are, the 5 automatics are Tyson, Darby, Jones, Braswell, and Buster Brown. Okay. Darnell Savage is listed as your nickel. As I've said now for a third time, I do believe as we move throughout the course of the season, you're going to end up seeing him become a safety. That's a good problem to have. As a matter of fact, let's see. I know he talked about it yesterday. Let's go to Doug Peterson yesterday morning. He was asked about Braswell as well as Buster Brown.
Both guys, Monteric, I think last year playing gave him confidence going into this year, and he's competed well. Christian, he battled through some injury last year, IR kind of most of the season, if not all of it, I think, and really kind of came out this year, I think something to prove, and he's done that, and he's done a nice job, this year. And so those two have really taken the steps you want to see, and I think, too, it's a credit to, Chris and Corey coaching everybody back there and getting everybody, equal time, and it's been good for both of them.
Let's get the linebacker. Matt House is now here, and Bill Shuey is one of the remaining coaches. He's done some nice work over the last couple of seasons with Trayvon Walker and Josh Hines Allen. The linebacker that sticks out is Chad Muma. Year 3. He's basically done nothing here. He's been caught up in a numbers game. He's been behind Foye. He's been behind Devin Lloyd. We know about the positional change with Lloyd. It's come with mixed reviews so far. He's still going to get that opportunity at middle linebacker. Muma has worked there. Muma's worked at all of the linebacker positions. We're talking about what I think is truly their base defense, which is a 4-2-5, right? 2 linebackers. The 5 in the contain, the 4 on the line of scrimmage, and then 2 backers. Devin Lloyd is not a good coverage linebacker. I still think Devin Lloyd's best football is to seek and destroy and to basically eliminate him. How do I want to say this? As far as a lot of responsibility when it comes to scheme and look for this, look for that, look for this. I'm not going to say he's Lawrence Taylor and he's a freelancer. Don't get me wrong. But I think there's been confusion at times for him. I want to believe he's going to be solid against the run. He was out of place the other night in limited action, missed the gap, which I imagine they coached up. Chad Muma's been all over the place in camp. He looks faster. I think he's a better coverage. Linebacker, still not great. Foye can cover. They're not a great coverage linebacker unit, in my opinion. But you have to keep an eye on Chad Muma, all right? Because I think he's been kind of put in a category. I don't want to put him in the same category as Luke Fortner, but very easily skipped over. And I think most of you out there would agree it was a missed draft pick. Well, maybe there's an opportunity for him this year with Ryan Nielsen. There's a guy you got to look at. Ventrell Miller is a football player. I just wish the kid could stay healthy. You can't have a conversation, just like Cooper Hodges. You can't have conversations about these guys without bringing up the fact that they're always hurt. And I don't know if we'll ever be able to tell, but I think Ventrell Miller is a football player. I think he can really, if he could stay healthy, he could really help this team if called upon. He had 4 or 5 tackles in the game. Again, he did get beat on a one-on-one running play. All right? Welcome to the NFL. But he's had a solid camp. Ventrell Miller in year 2. He's done some nice things. Yasir Abdullah. Boy, I gave up on him, especially when we saw him not rushing the passer. He wasn't working with Bill Shuey. He had pass rush drills, and I'm like, where in the heck is Yasir Abdullah? Then all of a sudden you look out, and he's in coverage with linebackers. I'm like, they're going to take this guy and try to make him a well-rounded, rush the passer, defend the run, and drop in coverage. And you know what? He's done some pretty good things. He played well in that first game, clearly on the bubble. I don't think you would have to worry about him not making the 53 and another team coming in and snatching him up. I think you could put him on the practice squad, and then if something happens health-wise, he becomes a part of it. Or maybe they just say, you don't know what you're talking about, Ballou. There is a risk of losing him. He's on the 53. That's going to be an interesting one. But there's a guy right there. Last year, it was obvious. He was an undersized, one-trick pony. All he could do was rush the quarterback, and he was tiny. This year, they got him doing a bunch of different things. So maybe this is the injection of the Ryan Nielsen defense. And this is why this team is going to be better. You want to believe that. Let me save the defensive line for the top of the hour, okay? And I'll get to the offense as well at the top of the hour. Just took you through the contain as well as the linebackers. If you want to express your opinion on anything you heard me say, love to hear from you. 641-1010. That is the best way for you to get into the conversation. That is our text line, and it's brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures.
She's homegrown.
Your father's listening to the radio.
She's Jacksonville's sweetheart.
Well, it's a little cheesy, but...
And she's one of the boys.
Just
Behave, okay?
She's Lauren Brooks, noon to 2 on 1010XL. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Hey, school's in session, and here's today's lesson. We have hundreds of new vehicles. Trax starting at $299 a month. Traverse for $399 a month. Silverados as low as $499 a month. And they all come with a 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. That means you and your soon-to-be drivers will be protected for the next 20 years. Plus, every purchase will help fund a teacher's project in our schools. Your next assignment, get to Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville. Deadline August 31st. We're here to wow you and our teachers.
Lauren Brooks here from Mayport CNC Fisheries. At my house, we had a feast from Mayport CNC Fisheries with the freshest shrimp around, and it was unbelievable. They also have oysters, scallops, mahi, and so much more. Want to eat like a local? Head to the beach and visit my friends at Mayport CNC Fisheries.
It all comes down to Daytona and the Coke Zero Sugar 400 race weekend, August 23rd and 24th. For your chance to win a family 4-pack of tickets to the Coke Zero Sugar 400 August 24th, answer this question. Who won last year's Coke Zero Sugar 400? Text the driver's last name only to 641-1010. Who won last year's Coke Zero Sugar 400? Text the driver's last name only to 641-1010 for your chance to win.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Ballou here for Smunez Vision. Why Smunez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smunez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smunez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smunez is fellowship-trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmunezVision.com today. Care you can see.
This is Mark Nato. My sons and I have seen the doctors and PAs at Southeast Ortho for everything from lumbar spine stress to elbow tendonitis. Southeast has always been there, been truthful, and always been on point. Everything they say happens. We can't thank them enough for what they've done and the great care that they have taken of our sons.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Okay, you've decided it's time to sell your home. How do you go from a problem to a promise? Listen, there are problems that come with selling one's homes, but with the promise of ChadandSandy.com, you're going to get there, and you're going to get there in the best possible way. You see, here's the promise. Your home sold, guaranteed, or they will buy it. So go to ChadandSandy.com. Listen, lots of stories of proof out there. We're going to get to those in just a second. But maybe you need more space for your office or growing family, or you're worried about costly repairs. Chad and Sandy are the local real estate experts you can trust. We recommend them for the sale of your home. They guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price. Buy a deadline or they'll buy it. No required costly repairs. Pick your move date. No long-term contracts. You get it all with Chad and Sandy. Don't believe me? Ask Stephen and Marlene in Eagle Hammock. We needed to move quickly to Ohio to be with family. We heard about Chad and Sandy on the radio, and all we heard is true. Call Chad and Sandy today or go to ChadandSandy.com.
Duval. Jaguars football is officially back. Be there for the Jaguars 2024 home opener when they go head-to-head with the Cleveland Browns. Join us as we celebrate Hispanic heritage and take the field at Everbank Stadium for the first time during our 30th season. Lock in your seats now for the 1 p.m. kick by going to Jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. We can't wait to see you back at the bank.
Looking to elevate your game night experience? Look no further than Best Bet. We're not just a card room, we're your destination for excitement, fun, and big wins. Whether you're a seasoned player or new to the game, we have something for everyone. Join us at Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, or St. Augustine for thrilling tournaments, exciting promotions, and a vibrant atmosphere that will take your game night to the next level. Elevate your game night at Best Bet. Visit bestbetjacks.com to learn more. That's bestbetjacks.com.
At the First Coast YMCA, you'll find much more than just a gym. We offer many ways to help you be active, reach weight loss goals, and find your inner strength while you connect with your community. Family memberships at the Y include unlimited group exercise classes, childcare while you work out, and youth sports participation. It's easy to join the Y and affordable for all. Plus, the Y is a great place to meet a new circle of friends. Visit the Y near you or online at fcymca.org.
Googan Nation, it's Dreamfinders Danny Hicken here to tell you this is no dream. The folks at Dreamfinders Homes right now have an unbeatable interest rate for you. You may not think you can afford a Dreamfinders home. Well, think again. Take advantage of a 2.99% year one rate. I said it, 2.99%. 15 Jacksonville communities to choose from. Find that dream house and take advantage of an unbeatable rate. Move now, literally. Dreamfinders Homes, the official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hi, I'm Mac with Baker Glass. If you've got fogged up windows, let me help. We'll replace them with clear, insulated units that brighten up your home. People say we're fast, friendly, and reliable. Just check out our Google reviews. Call me today. Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Let's go into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, a little bit of a different spin on training camp. I'm basically looking at younger guys. And I almost made like an ESPN comment where I was told to delete something and redo it because the higher-ups want it changed for that very reason. Yeah, it almost feels like I was handed a memo. Hey, Ballou, how about 1 hour's worth of all positive talk here about the Jacksonville Jaguars? How's it going so far, JJ? Have you fallen asleep yet?
Everything is going according to plan.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I actually started talking about this on Wednesday. I said Friday, I'm gonna do something I think is a little different around here. I'm gonna talk about young guys. And, look at the great Bill Belichick. One of the biggest reasons why he's no longer in New England, he missed severely late in his career on the draft. And I'll be the first to admit, last year's draft class as rookies, it failed miserably. It absolutely did, outside of Anton Harrison. But the point has always been, your draft shouldn't be about immediate success. It should not. It should be where there are contributions. Now, Detroit was the exception of the rule. They went to the championship game. They had 4 rookie starters. But all of a sudden, you look at this class last year from 2023. I'm going to get to the offense. I'll go over that in a minute because I want to get back to what I was saying. But I thought it would be interesting to, instead of focus on everything and go through all the guys you always hear, no, what about some of these younger guys? Because I think that that's a mark of a great organization. You've got to be able to draft players. And what this organization is doing now with this regime, the bulky red regime, is different from the former regime. Trent Baalke is re-signing Jacksonville's draft picks. They did it 3 more times this offseason. Major blockbuster deals. With Allen and Lawrence and Hines Allen, Lawrence, and Tyson Campbell. 3. The former regime couldn't do that. So you got to have top-heavy re-signed players. You've got to bring in free agents to fill obvious holes. Free agents should be anywhere 1 to 3 years. Now, this team has been fortunate that they've been able to re-up with some of those free agents. Foye Oluokun, Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram, a 1-year show-me deal. Okay? But you want to mix under your cap where you also have a lot of players on your roster that are productive, that are under rookie contracts. And if you don't get anything out of them in year 1, like Jacksonville didn't last year, out of that draft class not being Anton Harrison. Okay, they got a sprinkling of Antonio Johnson. They got a sprinkling of Parker Washington. But that's basically it. Tank disappointed, Brenton Strange. I don't need to go through it. What about year 2? What about year 3? What about year 4? I just mentioned Chad Muma, okay? What if all of a sudden Chad Muma, what if the light really went on for him in this being year 3? Now, all of a sudden, he has a really good year in year 3 and a really good year in year 4. Now, obviously, does that, something's going to happen to someone else, and I don't want to be responsible for injuries. But guys can change, okay, if given an opportunity. And that's why I wanted to do this, is that I've noticed that younger players are getting better. Before I continue on, let's go to Doug Peterson, because I just talked about Chad Muma, and this is what Doug Peterson said about the third-year linebacker yesterday.
Yeah, he's another one that's been a bright spot. He's really, I think, challenged himself to learn the defense. A little bit of a different role, but he's really embraced it. And, he showed up in the game when he played and made some nice plays last week. And he just continues to really impress. And then on special teams, too. He's an added contributor there. So he's been doing a really nice job.
All right, let's continue on. Let's get to the defensive line. The Jaguars did make a transaction today. They bring in defensive end Joe Graziano, and they say goodbye to defensive end Rasheem Green. I remember when Green was brought here, some thought that maybe he would be the fourth edge. Guy with a little bit of experience, really didn't show much in, less than 2 weeks worth of time here in Jacksonville. So that transaction happened today. Let's begin with the edge. First guy I'm going to mention is DJ Coleman. Got a great body, okay? He can bend. He is a guy that they like as an undrafted free agent a year ago. They kept him around. He's getting more and more of an opportunity. I talked to Dave Campo about him quite a bit. He played well in the game on Saturday night. He has turned heads in camp. Am I going to make a proclamation right now and say he's edge number 4? No. But I do believe he's got a real good chance of making this team. Jacksonville has arguably the best combination pass rushers in the NFL with Trayvon Walker and Josh Hines-Allen. And Travis Gibson's a free agent that they believe is going to be a nice player and going to be a third guy. And this whole rotation on the defensive line is scary. What I'm really going to be interested in is, do they have the ability to move some of these big guys outside in certain situations? Tyler Lacey outside, Eric Armstead. Armstead probably is going to stay inside, but I'm just thinking out loud here. We always heard about Trayvon Walker moving inside. Is it Gibson? Is it Walker? Is it Armstead and then Hines-Allen? I don't know. Can you mix and match any other way? Is Coleman a guy who's involved in this? He's had a really good camp. Miles Cole, this is a developmental guy, slow off the ball. If you watch him tomorrow night, you can even notice that, the ball is snapped and it feels like it takes him a quarter, maybe a third of a second to get off the ball. And I would think that that's teachable, right? Don't pass rush ends, watch the ball. He was in beast mode in some situations. Him and, Breeland Speaks late in the game. But granted, that's against guys that, for the most part, are not going to be on NFL rosters. This might be one guy on the roster where the organization is like, don't say anything about him. We want to bury him. Look at his body. Look at the size of this guy. Let's develop him. Let's put him on the practice squad for a year and see if this kid can play football. There's hits and there's misses with that. Just talked about DJ Coleman. Maybe that ends up working out. The Jaguars did that for a few years with Jordan Smith. It never worked out. Chances are less than they are more for Miles Cole. He's never done it in college. Both stops. He's underachieved. But there have been times where he's looked like there's a possibility there. I'll tell you the one that really intrigues me, and I think that he's done some nice things playing a couple of different positions, is Tyler Lacey. If you look at projected 53s, right around 50% for this man making the team, right there with like a Jeremiah Ledbetter. He's a guy that I'm really fascinated about. I would do my best to keep him on the 53. I think he can play. I do, and I think you can do some different things for him. I've shown that he is stout, okay, and also has looked good in some one-on-one drills. I mean, it gets no press, but maybe one of the better battles in camp at times has been Tyler Lacey against, who am I thinking here? The backup, Blake Hance. Now, again, did Ballou just waste airtime on Tyler Lacey against Blake Hance? I did. I think it's been one of the more spirited ones. And I'm sure there are people that are saying he's just the guy. That's a guy against the guy. You know, you can put him on the practice squad. If he gets snatched up, go get another guy. Maybe. But I happen to think Tyler Lacey could really help out in this rotation. I think he's a guy who can do some different things for you. I think in run situations, he absolutely can be a big defensive end. I believe that. And he's got the ability to get a little bit of push, perhaps up the middle. So I like what I've seen with Tyler Lacey. All right, offensively, Brian Thomas Jr. is turning into a star. He has gotten better daily. And it's been a treat to watch. Okay? He's been sensational, uncoverable by Tampa. Parker Washington has had a huge camp. He's far and away your number 4. And his experience of a year ago comes into play, but that was helter-skelter last year, right? He was thrown into it. And, you know, you're going to remember him not getting out of bounds down around the goal line, but it looked weird. He looked uncertain in punt returns. Man, has his confidence grown. Kick return, punt return. Okay? And he is clearly the number 4 wide receiver. Now, if they do work their number 1 offense tomorrow night, I would assume he is your starter in the slot. We noticed last week he played outside. So Parker Washington is learning all 3 wide receiver positions. The only question I have with Parker Washington, feels like at times he loses the ball. Practice and games, and it's always right around contact with the ground. I'm sure they're really coaching that up, but I mean, this may have been a bubble guy going in for some. He's ahead of Devin Duvernay. He's ahead of all these other wide receivers that you always want to talk about. For the record, I think this team's going to keep 7 wide receivers. I think they're going to keep 3 tight ends and 7 wide receivers. I do. Now, Duvernay will be the 5th. People keep wanting to send Tim Jones away, right? No, I don't agree with that. Tim Jones is a big part of this football team when it comes to special teams. So he may be your 7th wide receiver, but he's a game day player who's going to play every game for you. You can't judge Tim Jones by looking at receptions and targets. You judge him by what he does on special teams. It's going to be interesting with that. If they keep a 7th guy, it's quite a battle. I would think that Elijah Cooks is going to get that. But again, I just don't think he'll figure prominently into what this offense wants to do. Parker Washington absolutely will. All right, the last offensive guy is Tank Bigsby. And I'm a broken record from a year ago, but he has gotten much better, okay? He's arguably been better than Travis Etienne. His hands have improved drastically since OTAs a couple of months ago. He's running like a madman. We still don't know if anyone. I mean, hell, you could bring in Jim Brown. You could bring in O.J. Simpson. You could bring in anyone. I don't know if anyone can run behind this interior offensive line, but I hope we can find out, at least get an idea tomorrow night with Tank. If not, this team's going to be exclusively running, outside of the tackles, which is frightening. Tank Bigsby has had a tremendous camp. He is the last guy that I am going to mention. Noticeably absent, really the only two position groups that I did not mention. I didn't mention quarterback. You know, I'd keep 3. I think they'll keep 2. I just think they want an extra receiver, an extra defensive lineman. I think they'll keep Mack as the number 2 and try to keep CJ around on the practice squad. I didn't mention tight ends, and I did not mention the offensive line. And, you know, I've talked at nauseum. I've talked all the time about Anton Harrison, okay? He's their best player on the line. But I just don't have a feel for any of these backup younger guys. I know there's a lot of Cooper Hodgers fans out there. I can't give you anything on him. I haven't seen it. Guy's been injured. Stephen Jones has been injured. You know, Javon Foster, yeah, sprinkling here and there, but let's be honest. You don't want Javon Foster going on your football field this year. He makes the team. He's part of your future. He could be a part of it as early in 2025. You don't want him at tackle in 2024. You just don't. You hope that you get by with Cam and Walker Little and Anton Harrison on the right side. That's all you want from tackle. So I haven't mentioned Javon Foster because of that very reason. So obviously, many more younger guys, in my opinion, have performed well in training camp on the defense than what we've seen on the offense. Realistically, the only offensive guys I mentioned were Thomas Jr., Parker Washington, and Tank Bigsby. Brenton Strange has gotten some ink as of late. He had a 35-yard reception yesterday. I just think he's caught up in a numbers game. It's disappointing for him, but it's good for the organization in that there's so many other weapons. JJ and I mentioned it like a month ago, and I said so again recently. When I look at receptions this year, I go Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram, Travis Etienne, Gabe Davis, and Brian Thomas. That was my pick. Well, right now I'm looking at Brian Thomas sitting there at number 5, and I'm like, Ballou, what did you do? And why did you just put yourself out there and mention it again? You should run and hide from that projection with what we've seen from Brian Thomas Jr. Hey, folks, if this team can pass protect, you got a lot of weapons. And I didn't even mention Parker Washington or Devin Duvernay or Brenton Strange. You've got weapons. And you got guys that can do a variety of different things. You look at that starting wide receiver unit with a healthy Kirk at slot, Gabe on one side, and Thomas Jr. on the other. All three do a bunch of different things. And then with Evan Ingram, who's talking about stretching defenses even more this year, and ETN coming out of the backfield, if you have those 5 out there, you have a chance to have a really good passing offense. No doubt. Rushing offense, yeah. Concern. Offensive line, concern. So that is my opinion on what I have seen so far. And we'll see more tomorrow night. We'll have all the pregame, in-game, postgame for you right here on your home of the Jaguars. All right, let's get some from you on this. If you got something good, let us know. 641-1010. Anything you want to share with us is great. Brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. So I'll grab a few from you on there, on that. And also got something on college football I want to bring up. They came forward with another rule change today, and I think it's pretty interesting. So we'll spend a couple of minutes on that as we go into the night on this Friday.
The station that's not afraid to trade a little paint.
Oh, look out.
This Sunday at Michigan International Speedway. Brought to you by the Plumbers and Pipefitters Local Union 234. From Jacksonville's NASCAR station, 1010XL.
Do the Garber wiggle, Garber wiggle, 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 Garber wiggle.
At Garber Auto Mall, we can wiggle it. Best price, we can wiggle it. Best trade value, we can wiggle it. Best payment, we can wiggle it. Ford, Chevy, Buick, GMC, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. With 8 American brands, we can wiggle it. Visit us in Green Cove Springs or online at GarberAutomall.com. And remember, at Garber Auto Mall, there's always a little room for wiggle.
Do the Garber wiggle, Garber wiggle, 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 Garber wiggle.
Does the building you go to work in every day need a little love and attention?
Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Great companies take great care of the buildings their staff and customers walk into every day. If the building you're in doesn't match the vision you have for your company, we can help. Go to performance-painting.com. Our highly trained team makes the difference. Quality coatings applied with pride.
Performance Painting.
Ever wonder how you can transform your living spaces into captivating works of art? At First Coast Lighting and Fans, they offer a huge selection of high-quality products to match your desire for elegance, quality, and uniqueness. Visit their showroom on Phillips Highway at the Avenues and step into a world of quality without compromise. Discover the difference that locally owned expertise makes and let them help you experience the transformation from average to extraordinary. At First Coast Lighting and Fans.
I'm Ben from Beard's Diamonds. My father and I buy our stones direct from the diamond cutters. No middleman, no big company overhead, no commission salespeople, and we pass the savings on to you. Before you buy anywhere else, remember, Beard's Diamonds will beat any competitor's price.
In the St. John's Town Center or at beardsdiamonds.com. This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On August 16, 2008, legendary American swimmer Michael Phelps wins his 7th of 8 gold medals at the Beijing Olympics on the 100-meter butterfly.
We've seen it 1,000 times. Insurance companies using the same tired excuses not to pay. They'll say you're really not hurt, or that your injury is from an old accident. That's why it's so important to hire a law firm who has their own medical experts, who know how to fight excuses with facts. When they bring excuses, we bring the truth. And truth is power. Farah and Farah. Here for you, here for good. Jacksonville.
Ballou here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Hon, what do you say we go to the supermarket today?
Again? Weren't we just there yesterday?
Well, yeah, but it's just so nice and cool in there.
Why don't we just get our air conditioning fixed?
Can we afford it?
We can with Duck Air Conditioning. They offer financing.
Oh, cool.
Yes, it will be.
Beat the Florida heat with Duck Air Conditioning. Jacksonville area's AC experts. Repairs to new installations. Trust the Duck to keep your cooling costs low. DuckDuckAC.com.
Ballou for Shinatri Chiropractic. They've helped me get rid of my headaches and pain in my neck and back. Are you suffering from an auto accident? What about TMJ pain? Headaches associated with jaw clenching, grinding of the teeth, or stress-related disorders? Shinatri Chiropractic has a physical therapist on staff for rehabilitation, quality chiropractic care, dry needling, massage, and acupuncture. Call 743-6700 or go to ShinatriDC.com.
This is Mark Nato. My son Justin injured his hand playing baseball for JU. Southeast Orthopedic Specialist performed surgery just a few days later, and within 5 weeks, he was cleared to play in the ASUN baseball tournament. Our family has trusted Southeast Orthopedic Specialists for years. For any orthopedic injury, let Southeast Orthopedic Specialists take care of you too.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. You know, I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation. Light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to CarlsonDentalGroup.com. That's CarlsonDentalGroup.com for all of your dental needs.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Break up with stinky clothes.
Rinse it out.
Every now and then I get a little bit tired of the stinks that just will never come out.
Pour Downy in the rinse change.
Every now and then I rinse it out. One wash and it delivers. One wash, it smells so clean. Downy Rinse and Refresh, it's a dream.
Downy Rinse and Refresh removes 100% of odor in just one wash. Guaranteed.
For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, Call 722-1111 for
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, talking about a PR nightmare. Yes, there are other major entities out there who make mistakes outside of ESPN. This time it's the New York Mets. Did you see what they did? They walked out Hawk Tua to throw the first pitch.
And the irony of ironies, they blew a lead in the ninth and lost the game.
Well, apparently the New York media has gone absolutely nuts. I was reading this earlier where the beat writer from Newsday mentioned her name, and the editor said, pull it down. So he responds with a tweet that says, my company will not allow me to say who is throwing out the first pitch for the New York Mets.
That was the post?
That was the thing on Twitter, on X.
I wonder who he works for.
New York Newsday.
Oh, Newsday. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, embarrassing. If you don't know, I can't really explain to you why she's famous on our radio station, but you probably already know who Hawk Tua Girl is by now. But the fact that you can do what she did and become like a famous person in this country is pretty...
is awesome.
It's awesome, but it's also
incredible.
Pretty despicable, like a sign of our times morally. But yeah, whatever. Yeah. It's the Mets. They're a joke.
I'm not,
and it was hilarious to see them lose after that.
I'm not easily offended, but I the best tweet that I saw, and it really sat with me, was I'm at the game with my 9-year-old daughter.
I saw that.
How do I explain to her who the lady is out throwing the first pitch?
I just don't.
For the New York Mets.
Good point, but you probably don't have to.
So her 15 minutes of fame are ending, but she's made herself, as JJ pointed out, she made herself some money.
Which you got to jump on that, man, away. I remember the guy who sang, he was like a heavy-set country red-haired guy, and what was that song? He sang about like the rich men up in Virginia or Richmond or something like that.
Okay.
And it like blew up overnight, and everybody was offering him like all these deals, and he turned everything down. And like I haven't heard from him since. So it's just like, dude, just hop on right away. Get as much money as you possibly can from this short fame because it's going to die out very quickly. Like most teams right now are probably having like a gold medalist come and throw out the first pitch. Like someone back from Paris, and the Mets are like, let's get Hawk Tua Girl in here.
You know who never took advantage of a financial opportunity was Steve Bartman.
Dude, he disappeared. Still to this day, I don't think he's done like an interview.
He went underground. Bartman's the guy that, interfered with Moises Alou down the third baseline.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, everything happened after the fact, including the error, that short by Gonzalez, and the floodgates just opened. Boy, that was tough. When I was doing overnights in Chicago, I worked with DiGiacomo, and Shakiro. Those are my three producers, all Cubs fans.
They wanted to kill this guy.
And then in that same championship series is when Grady Little left Pedro in, and the late Tim Wakefield gave up that home run to Aaron Boone.
I by the way, yeah, dude, 2004 or 3, yeah.
Yeah.
I blame, and I always have, Moises Alou.
Mm-hmm.
His reaction was so over the top to me.
Yeah.
He wasn't going to catch that ball. At least I don't think he was. Like, it looked way too high and over for him, but he really lit into the dude. And I think that gave everyone else, like, hey, if he did it, it was obviously his bad, so let's all jump on him. I think if he would have just, reacted normally, like, dang, I couldn't quite reach it, we would never even know who the hell that is.
And it's amazing that it caught Bartman's fingers, because Bartman's 5'4", right? And there was
4 guys around.
There was 15 hands all around him, and somehow, but they identified the fact that it was his hand, his fingers. That was really sad story.
Truly, because the guy loved the Cubs.
They blew up the ball at the Harry Carey restaurant.
And they made it into spaghetti, right?
Yeah.
They ate it.
Harry Carey restaurant is a tourist trap.
I'm sure.
In Chicago, but I've been there many times. I took my dad there and some stuff. I mean, it's worth going by. Of course, there's tremendous food everywhere in Chicago, but it's
right.
One of those places that you probably want to make a run through. All right, college football. Ohio State formally announces Will Howard as their starter today. Of course, he transferred over from Kansas State. And Wisconsin, they name Tyler Van Dyke.
Oh, legend.
As the starting quarterback. Today, the new rules in college football in the 12-team playoff will not use conference championship games as a tiebreaker. They have totally been eliminated, okay? The tiebreakers are as follows. Let's see. Strength of schedule, head-to-head, and comparative outcomes of common opponents. So those are going to be the top three. We understand the way that it works. Now, I have been under the impression until today that it was going to be the 4 conference game champions that would get the first 4 spots in the first 4 buys. No. They're not saying that. They're saying it is going to be that 4 teams who win their respective conferences, and you would obviously play in the conference championship game, but you can lose that game. Georgia can lose that game like they did last year, and they're still going to win the conference. So pretty bizarre, but that came in a little bit earlier today, so I don't know how much bearing it will have on anything when it's said and done. For what it's worth, Jerry Palm, back in the day of the BCS and all of that, he used to have him on all the time. He's based in Chicago, and really like Jerry Palm. He's a mathematician. You know, he's just one thing after another. He's like one of the first guys to really put math into, algorithms and all of that when it comes to deciding who he thinks is going to make it, whether it's college football or college basketball. But he did come forward today with his projection as far as the 12-team college football playoff. So here we go. Number 1 seed, Georgia. They get a first-round bye. Number 2 seed, Ohio State. They get a first-round bye. Number 3 seed, Utah. They get a first-round bye. For those of you who forget, Utah is now in the Big 12. Number 4 seed, Florida State. They get a first-round bye. So, this is what is crazy about all of this. His 5 seed is Texas State. Remember, the top 4 seeds get a first-round bye. They're still going to take the top 5 conference champions, but it doesn't mean they're going to actually get a higher actually, it does mean they are going to get the higher seed, which, again, there's been confusion with this. I just went through the conference winner in the conference championship game. I've read so much about this, I wasn't aware until today. Well, my other feeling, and I want you to jump in here as well, if you thought the same or if you thought differently, JJ, I have thought all along that if you had that 5th conference champion, they, depending on the rankings, would still be ranked 10th, 11th, or 12th. According to Jerry Palm, he's got the 5 seed Texas Tech taking on a 12 seed. Actually, scratch that. That's my bad.
That's because they'll have 4 buys.
I'm sorry. I got that wrong. I got that totally wrong. He does have Boise State in as the 5th conference champion, but they are the 12th seed. My bad. I actually read Texas State here instead of Boise State, so forget everything that I said. The second part of it actually is the way that I assumed. So it is 5 Texas against number 12 Boise State, and that'll be in Austin. Okay, rounding it out, 8 against 9. Texas A&M against Penn State. That'll be at Kyle Field. Number 6, Oregon. Number 11, Kansas State, out in Outson Stadium in Eugene. And then Alabama, Miami. Have you guys faced one another since
Yeah, we got
the
crushed.
bowl game in 1992?
Oh, yeah. Bama beat the brakes off Miami like 2 years ago.
That'll be in Tuscaloosa.
See.
So
yeah, it's 2021, 44-13. That was the first game of the season, Derek King era. Restrepo is still on that team, so still around.
The first round games would all be on campus. The second round games, Georgia would get the winner of Texas A&M and Penn State. And that game would be played on January 1st in New Orleans at the Sugar Bowl. I mean, how freaking cool is that? Number 2 seed, Ohio State, in the Rose Bowl, okay? They would get the winner of Alabama and Miami. Again, that day would be on January 1st. The Peach Bowl in Atlanta, number 3, Utah. They would get the winner of number 6, Oregon, and number 11, Kansas State. And then finally, the Fiesta Bowl in Arizona. Number 4, Florida State will get the winner of Texas and Boise State. We would then go from, 8 to 4 to 2 and play it all on out.
Real quick, I don't know if I was confused when you were talking about the new tiebreaker rule or whatever, but I just want to reiterate that it is still the 4 conference champions who won the conference title game go in our automatic bids. They just took out the tiebreaker criteria for the conference championship game. So they're basically saying, hey, if 2 teams are like super similar that we're choosing between, we're not even going to look at what they did in the conference title game because another team that we're comparing them to might not even have played in that game. So we're like not even going to use that as a criteria when it comes to who they pick, like tiebreakers is what they're saying. But it's still the 4 teams who win the conference championship game are in.
All right, well, then this title's wrong that I'm reading. Okay, well, good, and I feel better about it.
Yeah, College Football Playoff Committee revamped selection process ahead of new 12-team format.
Where'd you get this?
New York Times,
all right.
Something like that.
Well, that's better.
What does it say? What are you reading?
I actually deleted it and moved on to what I was talking about with Jerry Palm, so I can't remember where I actually got it. But I'll look back on it here in just a minute. Let's see. The 4 highest-ranked conference champions will receive first-round bye. That's what I'm reading. The 4 highest-ranked conference champions. I don't see anything about the conference championship. The only thing I see about the conference championship game here is that it will not be a part of the tiebreaker. Instead, it will include strength of schedule, head-to-head results, and comparative outcomes of common opponents without incenting margin of victory.
I don't even know what that means.
Does that mean that?
How about this? Pick the 12 best teams.
What does that mean? Does that mean they're running up a score in the fourth quarter?
Probably.
That if you're running something, if it becomes whatever, and they think that you're purposely
then they'll just ignore that.
Throwing downfield, that the margin of victory doesn't come into play. Maybe they're just talking about points. If one team wins by 21, another team wins by 41, but they hang another 3 touchdowns late in the fourth quarter, they're not going to take that into consideration.
Probably.
The moral of the story is that even with this breath of fresh air, it's still somewhat of a gray area.
Yes.
Everything in the NFL is set. It's so perfect. You know exactly what the tiebreakers are. You know exactly how you get in, how you don't get in. But with college football, they always leave it where you can have an argument over something. So anyway, I'm glad you found that in the New York Times. I didn't find it in this piece.
It's and we're about to get a new rule. We're about to get a whole new playoff in a couple years. Like, it's why even worry about getting angry about like if you don't like the college football playoff rules or not right now, because they're just going to change in a year. It's crazy. Like I'm really pissed that they are allowing the best non-Power 4 team in, or Power 5 team. But I know I'm not going to waste too much energy on that because I guarantee after this playoff, the contract is up, they're going to get rid of that. Like that's not going to be in there for very long. I just don't see that. So in 2 years, we'll get like a whole new thing, something else to be upset about.
The first set of rankings will come out November 5th. They're going to be around for about a month. The final rankings will be announced on Sunday, December 8th at noon. And it says it's going to be on ESPN. So
yeah, it'll be like a Sunday before the game.
What is ESPN going to do? They're just going to shut down all their NFL programming?
Oh, that's it. Well,
leading into their 1 o'clock games.
Isn't that usually what they do, though? Isn't it always on a Sunday afternoon?
I said yesterday that I stopped watching ESPN outside of games long ago. One of the only events I did watch last year was the 4-team college football playoff, and I don't remember if that was on ESPN or if that was on ABC or
both.
or where that was. But that's interesting that they would announce it right before 1. I mean, as much as we love college football, it pales in comparison, ratings-wise, to the NFL. I imagine there's going to be a little bit of pushback on that. Sunday, December 8th at noon.
As a fan of a team who's never anywhere close to the playoffs, I have no idea when it's been announced for the last 10 years.
That may not be the case this year. A lot of people are ringing the bell for the U.
It's making me nervous.
A lot of folks think the U going to make a serious right. They were in this projection by Jerry Palm.
Yeah, I've
taken on Alabama in the first round.
Just saw Josh Pate has them losing like one game. We heard Greg McElroy the other day was just drooling all over them. I love that the O-line and the D-line look like SEC teams. I get all of it. The quarterback's in there. It seems like on paper Miami should compete for a playoff berth, but that's just not how things have gone the last 20 years. So until it happens, I'm not going to believe it.
Let's put our final thoughts on this one. And we'll do that on the other side. I mean, it is tough to believe that we have high school football, some preseason stuff tonight, but next Friday night, a full slate. Jaguars will have their final preseason game next Friday night. And how about next Friday night in Dublin? I've already got a few buddies who were there. I mean, they're out there for like 9 days. I mean, we are...
That's how you do it.
7.5 days away from that noon time opener on Saturday afternoon between Florida State and Georgia Tech.
It began with a dream.
Got my first job when I was 11. Worked every day since.
And turned into 1010 XL.
Isn't that what the American dream's all about?
Imagine driving a late model Corvette, BMW, Mercedes, Lexus, Honda, Chevy, Ford, and more, all at a fraction of the original sticker price. Visit Vaughn Motor Group's indoor showroom and browse a great selection of dream cars that are inspected with warranties. Before you make your next auto purchase, check out Vaughn Motor Group on San Jose Boulevard or at vaughnmotorgroup.com for a complete inventory listing. If you can dream it, you can drive it at Vaughn Motor Group.
Are you embarrassed by your ugly, cracked concrete driveway? Need to enhance your home's curb appeal? Stonecore on Phillips Highway is your one-stop shop for all your outdoor needs. Replacing with new stone pavers will transform your driveway into a stunning work of art. Say goodbye to unsightly concrete and hello to beautiful, durable pavers that last for years. Visit Stonecore today and let's beautify your home together. Stonecore.co. We do outdoors better.
If you're an experienced, skilled plumber or welder that's MedGas certified and you're tired of working for a company that just doesn't treat you right, Local 234 is the place for you. Their pay is the best in the business. You'll walk away with $35.09 an hour in your pocket. With benefits, that's just over $50 an hour. Local 234 has been around since 1901, and that means something. Visit UA234.com to send your resume. Local 234. Make the right connection.
Integrity, persistence, and standing up for victims. It's what you want in a personal injury case and what my friend and lawyer Glenn Cohen brings to every case for over 40 years. Call Glenn at Barnes, Cohen & Sullivan.
You can't go inside your home team's locker room, so Jags beat reporter Hayes Carline goes there for you.
Work on three, 1, 2, 3.
Hayes Carline here. Find my blog at 1010xl.com.
Brought to you by Roland Reach Plumbing, where quality and experience count.
Calling all fans of Duval to downtown Las Vegas during the game against the Silver and Black. This is Lauren Brooks from Helmets and Heels. Join us at Circa Resort and Casino this December for the Jacksonville Game Day Getaway featuring an incredible all-in package. Get a 3-night stay at Circa, $200 food and beverage credit, plus a day bed at Stadium Swim. With 6 temperature-controlled pools and a massive screen, it's the world's largest hot tub party. The all-in package is only available until August 30th, so act now. To book and to join the Heels in Vegas, visit circalasvegas.com today.
This is your Mad Dad's Update with Chapter President Donald Ford. In our effort to curb crime, drugs, and violence during the summer months, we are offering Friday Night Lights. It has already started and will be going until school starts back. It is every Friday night from 6:30 to 9:30 at the Blacktop, 5732 Normandy Boulevard, and behind the Potter's House Christian Academy. We manage 3 basketball courts. You are not running on the cement. We have covering on each court. The Lakers, the Magic, and the Heat. Ages 15 to 40 years old. This will give them something to do other than selling drugs and getting into trouble. We have monitors there giving leadership. We have to wake up, stand up, and speak up. Hit me on Facebook and tell me what you think. Or MattDadJacksonville.com.
The Reggie Hunt Memorial Golf Classic fundraiser golf tournament is Friday, October 25th at Amelia River Golf Club. All proceeds support Big Brothers Big Sisters. Register at the Big Brothers Big Sisters events page.
O'Reilly. Need a little help? O'Reilly Auto Parts can help. Need advice? We've got advice. No matter what you need, we have thousands of professional parts people doing their part to make sure you have it. Exceptional customer service. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
For a chance to win a family 4-pack of tickets to the Coke Zero Sugar 400 August 24th at Daytona, answer this question. Who won last year's Coke Zero Sugar 400? Text the driver's last name to 641-1010.
Lauren here to tell you about Mayport CNC Fisheries preseason football special. $5 off any 100-count bag or 30-pound box of oysters, all preseason long. Bring football season back like a local with Mayport CNC Fisheries in Atlantic Beach.
I'm Taylor Rose with our Remedy Staffing Westside office off of Normandy Boulevard. We are helping great people find great jobs. Remedy has helped some of the best employers in Jacksonville find talented job seekers like you for over 25 years. Our current job openings range from entry-level distribution center pickers to equipment operators. Apply today at remedygoodjobs.com. Don't wait. Apply at remedygoodjobs.com now.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
1010XL is presented by Barra & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the Cool Down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
Well, tomorrow night, that's what it's all about, and it'll be preseason game number 2, and a lot to look for tomorrow night, particularly with some guys that are on the bubble. And I got 48 of the 53, I think, set in stone. But a couple of things certainly could change, and your hand can always be forced because of because of an injury. And for the most part, they got out of it last week basically unscathed. You hope the same thing can happen tomorrow night. This is a pretty healthy team. Eric Armstead off the pup. He's not going to play tomorrow. Christian Kirk will be out. with a minor calf strain. Trevor's not going to go. I wouldn't think Daniel Thomas would go. And we'll see what happens with other possible starters. But be interesting to see how things work out against Tampa Bay. Your last home game here until the regular season. And then next Friday, that'll be it. A trip to Atlanta in the final preseason matchup. Just got one here I want to end on. 81-43. Rick, I have a bunch. Roy Robertson Harris player, yada, yada, yada. If he's waived early, give him an opportunity to catch on with another team. I think he makes the team, but it's only a $4 million dead cap figure. All right? And he'd only save $800,000 on their salary. It's not a big deal for Roy Robertson Harris. And that's what you got to ask yourself at this particular point. Are you going to be able to get production out of him? You know, he started slow with coming back from that injury. But I think that this is one of the deepest position groups that they do have. And I do like these younger guys. So I think that's a pretty difficult decision that this organization is going to have to make. But I believe Roy Robertson Harris, because of his experience, is going to be on the initial 53-man roster. That'd be my guess. But only time will tell. Yeah. If you were to cut him, before June 1st, the numbers were much, much larger compared to what it would be like for Roy Robertson Harris if you were to say goodbye to him now. So we'll see. When it's all said and done, that'll be interesting as to what the Jags are going to end up doing. Yeah, it would have gone from 11.7, let's see, to only $4 million. So, yeah, financially wise, it always comes into play, but for Roy Robertson Harris, if they don't think he's one of the better defensive linemen and they can get better with younger players, there's a possibility that could happen. I'd still be surprised if it does take place, though. All right, that's it. We're out of here. Back with you on Monday from 6 until 8 o'clock. I'll see you all out at the bank tomorrow night as well. Game time begins at 7:30. Of course, all the pregame, in-game, and postgame right here on 92.5 FM and on 1010 XL. For JJ LaSelva, I'm Rick Ballou. We'll talk then.